This is Eagle Owl, and today I'll be going over Jeremy Chinn. He might be a real candidate that the Eagles are trying to get. Also, Brian Johnson, are we too hard on him? But let's just get straight into the news. All right, so before we get into it, I want to talk about the injury report on this Saturday. We know the Monday's coming up. Don't want to focus on the limited guys. I actually want to focus on more Boston Scott and Quez Watkins. So Quez Watkins is missing his second straight practice. Terrell Edmonds, he returns from his illness, and Boston Scott took part of stretches. So Boston Scott definitely practiced today. I believe he was limited, but Quez Watkins is the name to watch. I think he missed the game. We go with Zacchaeus probably as wide receiver 3 and Covey as wide receiver 4. Um, I think that hamstring is more serious than we think. You know, a lot of people suggest like, should we get another wide receiver? And I believe the best wide receiver on the market right now is probably T.Y. Hilton, just to play a smaller role. But I don't think is that serious. But I think it's serious enough where as though Quez might go on short term IR or miss like 2 to 3 games, maybe because those type of injuries like hamstrings, they can linger and linger and linger. See, this been lingering since what, training camp back in August. We in mid September, so again, hamstrings can always be reaggravated. It's one of the most annoying injuries because it's hard to timetable it. Yeah, it could be week to week. Then it could be month to month. Then you can miss multiple games. You just don't know. Or you could feel fine going into the game. And as soon as, you land awkwardly or get tackled or maybe even running a simple route, your hamstring reactivates. So hopefully Quez and his hamstring can get this right. Or hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe he does play, but when you see guys miss practice like that, more than likely they're not going to play. Okay. Let's get into the topics. Brian Johnson, is he actually cooking? Is he actually cooking? And us Eagles fans, we're overlooking it. So this is what Greg Cosell had to say. Very, very good analyst. I believe he was NFL Films. And he said, I thought week 2 versus Minnesota was one of the best coach games by a coordinator I've seen in a long time. This is a brilliant piece of in-game inflow management by Brian Johnson. When I go back and watch the film, he didn't call a bad game. The first half was like, oh, we back to this. Now, that first game, he called a bad game because he went up against Bill Belichick. But the way he adjusted in the second half it was phenomenal. Like he said, like in game flow, the management, like it was really, really good. If you go watch the All 22, it was really, really good. People were like, well, we just simply ran the ball. But there were key moments he did call pass plays, and they were just at the right moment. Like even the Devontae Smith touchdown, it was at the right moment. Even the touchdown that got called back to AJ Brown, that was at the right moment. It just penalties took away that touchdown, unnecessary penalties. So I like how he just like, you know what, we just gonna go back to the drawing board, do what we best at. And yes, he called a very, very good game. And I like his adjustments that he made. One of the problems we had with last year coaching staff is adjustment, and then they really didn't understand their personnel. Like my thing with Shane Steichen was, okay, you see teams blitzing, why are you not calling hot routes? Why are you only doing screens to tight ends? And when Jalen Hurts got hurt, he couldn't adjust to Garner Minshew. He just had the same type of plays. So that was my problem with Shane Steichen. My problem with Jonathan Gannon was just, again, he couldn't adjust. If the pass rush wasn't working, he didn't know what else to do. That's one thing I can say about these two coordinators that are better than our other coordinators is the adjustment. So Brian Johnson, again, against Minnesota, called one hell of a game. Was there some throws that Jalen Hurts just simply missed? Absolutely. But even when I watch, I'm like, was Jalen Hurts just frustrated? Even the interception, it's like he tried to force a ball that wasn't there. I think he was just frustrated because these dudes are rushing like 3 and dropping everybody else in zone. It's annoying. So, yeah, man, Brian Johnson called a very, very, very good game, and he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better, man. Sweet too. I know a lot of people like, man, it's time to get. No, it's not. It's not time to get a new coordinator. We're 2-0. He's finding ways to win. You got to give him week by week. And I believe by week 8, week 9, or even sooner, we will establish an identity. All right. So I want to get into the next topic of Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis, is he our all around guy? Can he get the rush and stop the run? But this is what Jordan Davis had to say to the media. I don't want to be known as just a run stopper. I want to be more than that, an all around guy. We'll just continue working. Rome isn't built in one day. We just put our hat on and keep working. I like what he said. I definitely like what he said. And this is his grade actually with run stopping. So between Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, and Jordan Davis, he's actually the worst run stopper we have out of the three. And being ranked 12, Milton Williams ranked 6, and Jalen Carter ranked 5. So um, that, like again, that's no knock on him. That just showing that he is becoming all around, because I think he got 1.5 sacks. He's getting after the quarterback. We're showing a little bit of drop off in his run stopping, which is okay because we got other guys that can make that up, like a Jalen Carter, like a Milton Williams. Hell, even our outside guys like a Josh Sweat, who's been balling out his mind, and we know Hassan Reddick's going to pick it up. So again, it looked like he's really, really working on his craft, and I really like that. And his run stopping grade is going to go up, of course. But I like the trajectory he's on getting after the quarterback, because at the end of the day, to me, I look at it, we are in a passing league. Got to get after the quarterback. You have to get at the quarterback, and he's a first round pick. We don't want to use him just at the goal line. We want to use him the majority of the game. No, you don't want him just in there on first and tens and what, second and threes or third and ones when it's obvious run plays. You want to be confident that Jordan Davis, with his athleticism, he could go get the quarterback. So I like that he's working on it. Obviously, we could see it through 2 weeks. Let the season continue. Let's see if he can keep doing it. Okay, I guess. And lastly, I know I talked about a safety yesterday, and I admitted like I was reaching, and it's just like Brisker is upset with his situation, and if there's anybody that could get somebody out of these situations, it's Howie Roseman. But this seemed like the real deal. According to Brandon Lee Gordon, who is a journalist and Eagles, somewhat of an Eagles insider, said Jeremy Chinn is among potential Eagles are looking for during the trade deadline. I'm not a big fan of Jeremy Chinn. I know a lot of Eagles nations love Jeremy Chinn. A lot of people believe Jeremy Chinn should have been on the Eagles at that time and moment. We should have picked Jeremy Chinn over Jalen Hurts in that moment, because we didn't need a quarterback at that time. We had Carson Wentz, who just came off a really good season. It's like, okay, we need a safety because the Malcolm Jenkins thing, and we thought Jeremy Chinn can turn things around. But since I've been watching Jeremy Chinn, since he's been in the league, he will be the second best safety on the team for sure, behind Reed Blankenship. But you're just getting a very small upgrade of Terrell Edmonds, in my opinion. Bot safety, can stop the run, can hit, but he can't really cover like that. That's who he is. That's exactly who he is. So he's not a big upgrade. Like Buda Baker, he can cover, he'll get picks. He know how to do it all. Well, Jeremy Chinn, I look at him as a bot safety. Now, is it possible for us to get Buda Baker? Possibly not. Jonathan Gannon is not letting that man off his hands too easy. He even put him on IR so the talks can stop. If you're going to try to get Jeremy Chinn, in my opinion, you might as well just work with what you got. Just work with what you got. Or do what you did with CJ Gardner-Johnson. Trade somebody. Try to get like a nickel corner and convert him to a safety. Maybe that. But even if we get a nickel corner in a trade, we're going to want him to play nickel corner because Avonte Maddox is hurt. So Go get Chinn. I don't agree with it. It's not that big of an upgrade for us to give away capital unless it's like a 7 round, or it's just, yeah, like a 7-6 round, or maybe, a new situation you play at a higher level. Never know. Just simply never know. But it will be interesting if the Panthers lose. I believe they play Sunday. If they lose Sunday, that they will seriously consider just moving on for certain guys and try to get as much capital as possible, because the Panthers lost a lot of capital trying to get Bryce Young, who so far is week 2, but he's looking like a bust. You never know, but so far it's either he's a bust or he's literally too small for the game. Might be too small for the game. I know he's out, but it will be interesting if they fall 0-3. Do they start moving guys and trying to get some of their capital back? And Jeremy Chinn will be one of those guys out. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? Jordan Davis, Jeremy Chinn, Brian Johnson. But this is Eagle Al.